Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Now today I'm going to be revisiting Ghosts of Atlantis. Now I've covered Ghosts of Atlantis quite extensively about 2 years ago, I think it might have been. Just when they released their new album, when they released their debut album, and I became a huge fan of their music almost instantly. You know, I absolutely loved their music. Now recently, a couple of days, maybe a week ago, they released a new track. They did a cover version of Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb. Now, in all honesty, I've been struggling with my depression over the last few days. You know, I've been having a pretty hard time. So I thought, you know, this would be the perfect opportunity to look at this track. You know, it's one of the most well-known Pink Floyd tracks ever. You know, it's a beautiful piece of music. One of my favourite songs, possibly one of the most famous. Now, in the past, I've only ever actually heard one, maybe two Pink Floyd cover versions that I've actually liked. One of those was when Korn covered The Wall, parts 1, 2 and 3. I think they did a very good job with that. And the other is, of course, Nightwish cover of High Hopes. So I'm actually holding high hopes for this cover version, because like I said, it's a beautiful song, but it's unlike anything we've heard from Ghosts of Atlantis before. You know, obviously their musical style is a lot heavier, it's a lot darker, you know, so I'm very curious to see what they do with this version, or with their version of this track. I'm really hoping it's going to be a great version. So we're going to jump into this track and see what we've got, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So, Comfortably Numb by Ghosts of Atlantis. Let's have a look.
I
Wow. Wow. That was amazing. It was a beautiful, perfect execution of that song. I mean, I've covered cover versions of songs on my channel before, and there are varying degrees of satisfaction, as it were. You know, a little while ago I checked out Evanescence doing a cover version of, I can't even remember what song it was, and I absolutely hated it. I thought it was a bloody awful. It was The Chain, yeah, Fleetwood Mac's The Chain, and Evanescence did a cover of it, and I'd hoped it was going to be good. It turned out awful. This version, absolutely stunning, absolutely stunning. Now, the video they've put with this, it seems like they're trying to make a different story, or not trying to make, they've put a different story along with the lyrics than the actual genuine story. Now, I've seen a lot of reaction channels cover Comfortably Numb, and a vast majority of them, when they're listening to the song, they go, what's this song about? It sounds like they're talking about a drug addict, which is not actually what the song is about. The actual story behind the song Comfortably Numb is David Gilmour actually wrote the music. He hadn't had any lyrics to it. He'd written the music, and Roger Waters listened to the track, thought, you know, it's quite nice, but this was for The Wall, and I believe Roger Waters wrote almost the entirety of The Wall himself, and he wanted to keep it as a project entirely written by him. But it was presented this track by David Gilmour, and he sort of thought, do you know what, I actually quite like this. And the lyrics to the track actually come from a personal experience of Roger Waters when he was playing at a live show in 1977. He was suffering like really major, really severe stomach cramps. You know, he was in a lot of pain. So a doctor backstage, or a doctor, might not have been backstage, it might have been somewhere before he went on to the show, was given some tranquilizers, some injections for tranquilizers to sort of ease the pain, you know, stop and try and prevent the cramping. So he went on stage pretty tranquilized, and, you know, he said, trying to play a show where you can barely lift your arm is really quite difficult, you know. There was like he said, like, it was the longest 2 hours of his life, because whilst the pain may have subsided a bit, he was still sort of tranquilized, and he was feeling a little bit out of it. So he was comfortably numb to the pain that he was feeling. But, you know, it was still quite a difficult show to do. And that's where the origin of the lyrics came from, apparently. So, you know, whilst, you know, a lot of people say, oh, it's to do with drug addicts, it's not, but there is drugs involved in a manner. But the way Ghosts of Atlantis have done it here, looking at the video, they've used a lot of imagery of war, and then, like, towards the end of the video, it's showing the effect that it had on the people in that war. It looked like the guy had come back from war, he was having trouble readjusting with his life, you know, and started getting in arguments and fights with his family and stuff like that. You know, it's the impact that war is having on people. You know, it's making them numb to the world. They're finding it hard to reintegrate, that sort of seems to think. And, you know, it even says at the end, you know, system corrupted, system failed. You know, so our system is failing our troops. The system is corrupt because they don't give a shit about these people that are coming back from war, traumatized. You know, you're finding loads of like army veterans are homeless. You're finding loads of army veterans aren't getting the care they need or deserve after fighting in these hugely traumatic conflicts. So the system has failed them. The system is corrupt because they're more interested in how it can help their political careers rather than the people who are actually on the front lines fighting. You know, and that seems to be what Ghosts of Atlantis have gone for in their version of the song. Like I said, it was an absolutely beautiful, beautiful version of this song. I'm guessing it was Colin doing most of the singing for this, because Colin has a spectacular voice, insanely tall human being, but a very, very nice bloke, and he does have a great voice because he does all like the clean vocals in Ghosts of Atlantis normal style of music. And then there's Phil, who does the guttural growl, death metal growls that you heard at the end of the song, which to me suggests, you know, there's the throughout the song there's the perspective of the soldier himself, maybe, and then towards the end there's the anger of what's been done and what's happening, which is where Phil's part comes in. You know, the death metal growls. You know, there's a sort of anger and frustration at the system for failing him. Now, obviously, like I said, this is a hugely popular song, very, very famous. We'll talk through the lyrics, but obviously I don't need to analyse them. But we'll just talk through it, because nobody's ever done that. In all of the videos of Comfortably Numb that I've seen people do, you know, they've done reactions to Comfortably Numb. I've never seen anybody actually look at the lyrics in depth. So it goes, "Hello, is anybody in there? Just nod if you can hear me. Is there anyone home? Come on now, I hear you're feeling down. Well, I can ease your pain, get you on your feet again. Relax, I need some information first, just the basic facts. Can you show me where it hurts?" So, you know, like I said, this comes from Roger Waters struggling before a show. So right there, that's like the doctor talking to him, going, you know, "Hello, is there anybody there? Can you talk to me? Can you tell me what's going on? Can you tell me where it's hurting so I can best diagnose you and help you?" And it goes, "There is no pain, you are receding. Distant ship smokes on the receding." I always thought it was "there is no pain you are receiving." But anyway, "A distant ship smokes on the horizon. You are only coming through in waves. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I had a fever. My hands felt just like two balloons. Now I've got that feeling once again. I cannot explain. You would not understand. This is how I am." And then the most famous line, "I have become comfortably numb." Then it goes, "Okay, just a little pinprick. There'll be no more." And then there's that scream, that very famous scream in the song, and they even replicated it almost perfectly in this version of the song. And then it goes, "But you may feel a little sick." So it's like he's applying these injections. It goes, there'll be no more of this excruciating pain, but it might make you feel a little bit, you know, you might feel a little unwell. "Can you stand up? I do believe it's working. Good. That'll keep you going for the show. Come on, it's time to go." So there's almost a direct reference there to the inspiration for the song, you know. "Can you stand up? I believe it's working," you know. Are you okay to stand up? You feeling all right? Good. That'll keep you going for the show. So that is a direct reference to Roger Waters having these injections before he did that show in 1977. You know, these will keep the pain subsided whilst you're performing. It'll last you throughout the show. You'll be all right. Then it goes back into "there is no pain, you are receding. A distant ship smoke on the horizon. You are only coming through in waves. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I caught a fleeting glimpse out of the corner of my eye. I turned to look, but it was gone. I cannot put my finger on it now. The child is grown. The dream is gone. I have become comfortably numb." So, you know, it's one of those songs. Everybody has a slightly different interpretation for it, and that's I think that's a good thing about a good song, is people can read their own sort of, they can relate to it in their own way. What it might mean to one person, it might mean something completely different to somebody else, but both people still get the ultimate enjoyment and satisfaction from hearing that piece of music. And like I say, I think that's what any good music should do. And like I said, it's one of the most famous Pink Floyd songs, and I can honestly say I think Ghost of Atlantis did it absolute perfect justice. They put their own spin on it. They added those sort of death metal vocals towards the end. There was some female vocals throughout it as well, which I think really added to it as well. Colin did a fucking fantastic, job with the main vocals. You could almost say it sounded almost like Dave Gilmour when he was singing it, because to begin with I was thinking, hold on, have they just sampled the original Pink Floyd vocal track? But no, he hasn't. He's obviously put his own spin on it. A fantastic British band covering a track by a fantastic British band. This is just... This is a fucking outstanding version of this track. They did it absolute perfect justice. I love it. And, the fact that they did put their own little spin on it, they didn't just do a direct carbon copy, that's what a good cover version should be. I don't mind if you do a cover version of a song, you've got to, at least pay respect to the source material. And some bands don't do that. They go off, do their own little thing, and they essentially ruin what was pretty much a perfect song. But no, Ghost of Atlantis knocked it out of the park 3 times over. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. But anyway, I could ramble on about how much I love this song for ages and ages and ages, but I shan't do that. So I'll leave that as it is. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, maybe even a subscribe if you aren't already, because that does help me out quite considerably. And yeah, thank you all very, very much for watching. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye bye.